Darlings, welcome, welcome. I'm really excited to drop in live with you. It's been quite some time since I've had the opportunity to go live, and I'm extra excited because I have a guest. Dr. Kymberly Kine is going to be joining me today. Hi, Kathy. So good to see you, darling. And there she is. Let me add her. I'm going to see if this works. Let's see what we've got going on. Yay! Okay, I'm gonna adjust our heads and faces.
Yeah, I made it.
You made it. We made it. All of the complications, and here we are. It was worth it. Oh, yay! We're here. I'm gonna lift this a little higher. Oh, welcome, you guys. Welcome. Oh, I'm so excited that we made it here. For those of you who don't know, Dr. Kymberly Kine is a doctor of acupuncture medicine, and she's also a somatic trauma therapist, and she specializes in a particular modality called sacred family constellations. And that's what we're going to talk about here today. We're going to talk a little bit about family constellations. We're going to talk about ancestral healing and why it is so crucial and important, and oftentimes a kind of missing layer in our healing journey. And then we're going to talk about two really powerful experiences, opportunities for you to join us in ceremony, where we'll be co-creating a transformational experience, specifically working with the energies of Samhain, Dia de los Muertos, at the end of next week. So I may have just lost her. It looks like she froze there for a second. So we'll see if she comes back. Kim, Dr. Kim, are you there, darling? Oh, internet. Well, I'm going to let her come back to us while I just bring a little sound bowl into the mix. So if you're here with us, just take some deep breaths and present yourself as we take some deep breaths and presence ourselves, and we invite her back into this space. Thank you for your patience. This is technology. This is what we work with. Working with. Oh, you're joined again. Yay, we're back. We got this. We figured it out. Spirit said, be patient. She's coming back. Just be patient. And here you are. So, I'm so happy prayers up into the divine, to the technology angels, to aid and assist and support us in staying live here today, because we've got some really beautiful wisdom, information to share with you guys. My prayer is that you feel our heart and our intentionality, and you get to learn something new, and specifically about this beautiful modality called Sacred Family Constellations. But before we get into that modality, welcome. Welcome, welcome, Dr. Kymberly Kine. Welcome to the space. It's so good to be here with you.
Thank you so much for having me and sharing this time. And we're going to try our best to stay connected and be with our community today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We don't need to try. Spirit's got us. They're taking care of us. And we're gonna just let it all just go up to God, go up to spirit. Okay, so I would love to hear from you just a little bit about you and your background and what brought you to this work, to serving and supporting others, specifically as it relates to deeply seated trauma, all of the things that are limiting us, the limitations, the beliefs, the unfelt emotions, at an ancestral level. So what led you here?
So, a lot of healing that needed to be done. So, I had to experience it myself before being able to understand how it works and what it involves, and then being able to share it with the community and finally make it into a full-time job. But I had some, different experiences, and the main reason, or the main um, source of motivation is trying to figure out what's holding us back. Why are we feeling certain ways that we don't understand? Why is our body aching? Our soul is aching, our heart is aching, and trying to figure out where it comes from. And especially when we have tried to do everything possible to find peace and to find resolution within ourselves. And that brings you to a journey of truth. It brings you to a journey of, hey, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that. And then finally, family constellation came about. But I did do a lot of work prior to that. So I got into psychology, got my psychology degree, and then I got into acupuncture because I was figuring out my brain and why and how and why am I thinking this way, and is this something that I should look into, and why am I feeling sad? Why am I feeling angry sometimes? And then I'm getting through all of that, and now I'm like, oh, my body feels really painful in certain areas, and I had to deal with breast cancer and multiple surgeries throughout my life. I had a car accident and then multiple broken bones, and then I was trying to feel the structure of my body, and I needed to be resourceful and understanding what I needed to heal it. So that's how I got into acupuncture, and I got into Chinese medicine, trying to figure out what would be the best to heal from the inside out.
Mm. And then at some point you uncovered this modality that is honestly kind of foreign to most people. And even if people are familiar with sacred family constellations, I find that you specifically, and the way in which you facilitate these transformational experiences, is very unique to you. And I believe it to be, and I kind of your background, your own personal lineage of healers, if you will.
Yes. So not knowing, you enter this journey without having pretty much any information and not understanding what is the truth of, where you come from, what you're doing, and how it works. And I got, by accident, I got introduced to family constellation when I was at the hospital by a nurse who came to me and she said, hey, your injuries, the cycles, the patterns that I see in you, it calls for a constellation. You need to do a family constellation.
Wow.
And I was like, what is that? Like I've never heard about family constellation. And looking into it and doing the research of, hey, you have to look into patterns within your system. And then you'll find what needs to be resolved and what needs to be seen, heard, and let go of. So doing this work, it brought me into like understanding my roots, where I come from, and creating a family tree of pain, of sorrow, of grief, and trying to place all the lost souls. So all the people that came before me that did not have a voice, that did not have support, that were not seen, that were not heard, and all these grief, the loss, the death of a family member can bring up a lot of grief. And if it's unresolved, it will stay in your body. It will come into place as an illness, as a mental illness, a physical illness. It could come into your space, your body, your mind, and something doesn't feel good. You feel burdened, you feel like you're repeating patterns in relationship, you feel like you're basically carrying all the burdens of the past situations, and it's just a cycle of patterns repeating.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I figured out, oh wow, there's something bigger. There's bigger than just me getting into, this situation. It's not me, but also you realize that even though I did not causing the situation to happen, you're kind of pushed into it because of your system, and that's just how your lineage carries it. And how, you have to understand that, well, I didn't create it, but I'm supporting it in a way, and I'm carrying it in a way as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your story. I didn't realize that it started with cancer and surgeries and actual physical ailments that brought you to acupuncture, and how interesting that it was a nurse who brought you into family constellations. And I would love to share with you all here my own personal journey, not specifically with family constellations yet, because I want to bring that forward too, but ancestral healing. For me, it is such a gift to get to work with Dr. Kymberly Kind and to get to work with family constellations as well, because my journey, similar to hers, was realizing, okay, I have great dreams and things that I want to accomplish, have, be, do in this world. And on the other side of that is all of my conditioning and my programming and my personal experiences in this life that tell me I can't have that, be that. I need to stay safe. It's not okay to be seen. It's not okay to be heard. It's not okay to take risks or chances, right? The ego, as it does. And I started to, okay, well, let's get to the root. And I started to do work with my inner child and my own personal life experiences. But then I started to realize, wow, these patterns are fractal in nature and they seek to be resolved somewhere by someone. And so much of my patterns that I was playing out, even as a child, even in my teenage years, didn't originate with me. They originated with my family, with my ancestors on my family side. So when I started to do ancestral work and bringing in, and then I started to learn about epigenetics. Like science has proven now that we carry the trauma of our ancestors. They've done an example of this, if anybody is unsure of this, they did tests with mice. And they put a smell of a certain flower, and every time they would put the smell of the flower, they would shock the mice. And the next generation never was shocked, but anytime they would put the smell of the flower, they would experience a stress response. 2 generations later, same exact thing. And what I love about it is it's evolution. It was keeping that species safe, saying, danger for this smell. And so it was helping their offspring survive. So what I love is that we can actually see this as a survival response, right? It's that our ancestors were just trying to keep us alive and safe and free from pain by handing this off to us through our genes. And so what a gift it can be. It really is. It will keep playing. Those patterns will keep repeating through our lineages until resolved. And what I found is resolution. There's many ways in which we can find resolution, but Sacred Family Constellations has a particular formula and a very shamanic way that allows you to go deeper than anything I've found. Because, and very specifically, and I want you to speak into this, is we aren't often aware of the pattern of our family, of our ancestors, because it's so painful that they hide it. It's the stuff that's swept under the rug. It's the stuff that they feel shame around. And so they don't share. And so it's like, how can we heal what we aren't even quite aware is there? And so I would love for you to speak into the power of family constellations, what it is, how it works, the benefits, and why you don't actually need to know the story to get massively beautiful, profound results.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you really explained quite a few things right there, and how beautiful this work is, and how ancestral work is the root of you. It's the root of our existence. It's the root of our collective, and we have to understand that this work requires truth, honesty, and it requires a lot of spoken and unspoken truth. Mm-hmm. So maybe at one point people did speak their truth, but they were not heard. And then other times they were not allowed to speak truth. So you have to figure out within your body, and it's a very somatic experience. And what we understand now is that what we call the shadows and what we call the ego is part of all these pieces of ancestors that were neglected, that were lost, that didn't have a voice, that didn't have a support, that didn't feel the love. And it's basically a disconnection from the love. It's a disconnection from the home. It's a disconnection from what feels like home and our family. And most of the time the pain comes within. So it comes within our system where, you know, we feel like our mom or our dad or our grandparents may bring in trauma. into our space. And we're repeating cycles, like you said, that and patterns that we didn't even know existed, because no one talks about their trauma. No one talks about, what may have felt like a real loss in their life. And it became taboo of like, oh no, we don't share that. No one talks about that. You shouldn't talk like that about your mom or your dad, or, like it has to be seen as a perfect family from the outside. So we don't discuss, the little things or the big things that may happen and bring trauma into your space. But also the body records every experience that you may have. And I want to mention also that we, all of us right now in body, souls and bodies, we did not create the trauma. We're just carrying it. And the mission for us is to resolve it. I know it's hard, but we can all do it if we can just start looking at it that way. So carrying it in your body, the energy of trauma can be stored within your fascia, but also within your genes. So it's epigenetics, but it's also part of your heart. It's part of what your heart carries, is all the pain and all of the burdens that you have. But also the beauty of family constellation is that you can heal these things without having all the details of the past.
Yeah.
And how you do it is just by speaking truth of how you feel. Because through you, your ancestors will speak. Through you, whatever feelings comes up in your emotional body, it's your ancestors speaking. Every tears, every shout, every scream, you're the voice that they didn't have. You are their eyes, they see through you. You are their tears also, because they cry through you. And all of that is messages of their pain that needs to be released from the body. For a lot of us, for years now, there's a system in place that tells you that guys are not allowed to cry. And even girls, it's not good. Don't show your emotions. Don't show your care. Don't be too loving. Don't be too caring. So it's a system that's been in place for a long time where emotions are not being expressed and it just stays stuck in your body.
Yeah, thank you so much for bringing that forward. I think it really is and can be important. I forget that I've studied trauma and the nervous system in so much depth to really understand what does it mean to bring resolution. When we talk about bringing resolution, it's like, okay, these patterns are being repeated because they require resolution. So how do we bring resolution? Well, one, awareness, loving awareness, and not rejecting or suppressing because what we suppress, or what we resist persists. What we resist persists. And we know that. Perhaps you guys have heard that phrase. What you resist is going to continue to persist until you open your heart to it with awareness, love, compassion. We know that most all trauma is a disaster. For resolution, we require awareness, compassion, love, forgiveness. And that is the alchemy. You literally transmute the energy of density, of heaviness, of pain, of sorrow, of anger, of rage, of abandonment. We get to transmute that energy of our ancestors, all of that it was unfelt pain is what it is. This thing happened, they pushed it down into their nervous system, into their cells, into their DNA, into their light body blueprint, and then that got repeated to the next, and then repeated the next, and repeated the next, until someone, and my loves, most of you here, is courageous enough and brave enough and willing enough to say, I will see it, I will observe it, I will hold it, I will feel it, because we have to feel to heal. I will feel it, I will allow myself to cry, I'll allow myself to be angry, and I will allow it to be resolved here. And I won't let that continue. And the beauty, again, so often, we might not be aware of these patterns. And also you might be aware that you have particular patterns in your life, like relationship patterns or I mean, there's emotional patterns. Addiction is something that is that I've been working with my ancestral lineage because it is so deep. War, there's a lot of war. Our ancestors came over on boats, many of them, and their stuff was taken away and they were pulled away from their families. They had to leave their homes. The amount of war and death that has happened, that all of this lives within our being, whether that be at a genetic level, physically, or at a I kind of see it as a blueprint, right? An etheric level. And so that's the beauty of of family constellations, is that it really is an honor. We get to hear our ancestors and feel what they couldn't feel. We get to hear what they couldn't say, and we get to stand up for those that weren't able to stand up for themselves. And so, yeah, there's something so very beautiful about this modality. It's shamanic in that way, because many of us were like, oh, well, my great 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 grandfather, like, how can I connect with him? Well, yeah, I would love to kind of talk into that, why we don't need to know the story, and how this, let's talk a little bit about the actual experience about family constellations, what it is, how it works, and what they can anticipate from an experience, specifically how you guide it as well.
So the way that I facilitate it is more of a somatic and shamanic experience where we allow the emotions and the feelings out of the body, and we work really into the deeper layers of trauma. So we really go to the root of it. So we don't want to just support the top layer of trauma. We want to go to the root cause of it. And it could be 7 to 15 generations down that we go to, sometimes only 3 generations, but we've gone all the way to 15 generations during constellation. And it's also an integration of emotional waves. So you're able to find clarity, you're able to find grounding and gratitude through this process, because you're merging every system, every person within your family system, and it's revealing truths that are hidden beneath the surface. It's truth that you may not be able to see on your own because you're so used and so your program doesn't allow you to see anything else than what it is that you are following as the patterns that you're following. But being in this group in a constellation and having some other people represent your family member and represent you as well, it could be, you're able to get an eagle eye view on your traumas. You're able to see your patterns differently than just living your life. So it brings up embodiment and a deep sense of belonging to your ancestral wounds, where you're like, okay, I see it now. This is, oh yes, I feel that. So it gives you a perspective that you may have never had before, even if you're doing years and years and years of trauma resolution, healing. But this role play kind of dynamic gives you a deeper acknowledgement of what you're going through.
Yeah, can we explain that a little bit? So you talked about
Sure.
the role play, you talked about the person representing a family member. So I would love to kind of give somebody an idea of what they can expect if they were to attend a family constellation experience facilitated by you.
Yes, sure. So what happens during the constellation that I will lead, we're going to first prep the body to receive the information and to receive the knowledge. It's very important to include integration before and after, because it is a very somatic experience, and your nervous system needs to be very calm and very and ready to receive all that information that is, a lot of trauma, a lot of guilt, a lot of emotional patterns that you may have never understood. And when these come up to the surface, your body has to be ready. So we want to start with a guided meditation. We want to add some frequency, some light if possible, to just make your body feel at peace and really focus on your nervous system at this point. So that way you enter a space of constellation where your body is more regulated and more ready to receive. And it could be stories that you've never heard before. It could be things that you never knew about that may pop up to the surface, or it might bring up extreme trauma that you pushed away for so long, and then it will be brought up at that time. So when you enter the circle or family constellation, we'll do a little sharing. We'll make sure that everybody understands a little bit about what's going to happen, but mainly other people will play the role of an ancestors that needs to be seen and that needs to be heard at that time and that moment. So once you enter the circle, you kind of get the healing already, and you kind of feel like something is happening within your body. So as we start the guided meditation, you might feel cold, hot, you might feel pain, you might receive visuals, you might see stories of you younger, for example, you might see a family member, you might hear a sound that reminds you of a certain situation, or you might even smell something, because right now your body is going through all the layers of trauma that you may have had to carry or experienced or not experienced yet, because it is linear. You might bring up a trauma that you haven't experienced yet, but a family member in your system did already. So it might be unfamiliar to you. And that's usually when you stick to stories that are untold and unknown, because you might feel like, hey, I'm having depression, I'm feeling anxiety, I don't like this, I don't like that, I'm feeling weird about certain things, and I'm feeling pain in my body, and you're not understanding because you didn't go through a trauma that would cause it, but somebody in your system did. So once you enter the circle after the meditation and your body is ready and you start feeling all these emotions come up to the surface, someone in the circle will play that ancestor that needs to be heard and seen. And then we enter it into a dialogue. So you'll be faced with your ancestor, and then there's a dialogue that's open, and we create a resolution. We create a harmony within, and we understand their story, and then you understand your part in it. And it's really to bring closure from a perspective of the ancestor that needs it. So on a soul level and on the shamanic level, a lot of souls that are out of body are heavy and not ascending because there is no resolution in their stories. So their deaths might have been very difficult, very painful, and there is no resolution. For example, when there is miscarriages or abortion or stillborn, there's a thread. The energy thread stays connected, and the mother has a hard time to let go, and it creates a stagnancy where that soul is not able to ascend or is not able to move on to the next chapter, and it becomes an attachment in the family system. So a heavy burden of grief, of sorrow and things like that. So we're sitting with your ancestor to resolve that and make peace within, and let them have a voice and let them be seen. So we've had situation where someone will play your mom or your dad, and then people will be like, but how did he know that my dad is like this and saying like that? And it's almost an embodiment of the person physically, where you kind of feel and see a shift within the energy and within the body, that whoever is representing your family member, you kind of like, whoa, like, how is this happening? So it's a mirror effect. And in that system of constellation, we understand that we're not alone. We're all going through the same thing. We're all going through the same burdens, and we all are going through the same missions. Like, we are carrying all these burdens and all these stories from the past, unresolved trauma and pain. And then we've had also stories where the ancestors just wants to share love.
Hmm. That's sweet.
So it's not always burden, but once you make peace with the burden, you're able to receive the love. You're able to
Mhm.
receive the gifts from your ancestors. You're able to move forward without having so much heaviness within you.
Mhm. Yeah, oh, thank you so much for sharing all of the beauty of the experience and what people can expect or anticipate, and just the profundity of this work. And to help clarify for you guys in the event that, just because sometimes to hear it another word, somebody use the word proxy. So you have another person as a stand-in for this particular ancestor. And honestly, the ancestor doesn't have to be someone who's passed. They can be someone who is still alive. Somebody, and we don't often know who comes through. There's an invitation for whoever is we're meant to work with in that moment. And so it could be someone who's passed, it could be an unborn child, it could be your unborn child, it could be another person's unborn child, it could be a grandparent, it could be an aunt, some whomever. And I love what you shared, because there's so many things happening, and that's why it's so shamanic, because it is a mirroring, but also it's creating this kind of collective consciousness. With you're like tapping into this collective consciousness, and this person really does embody the energies of this ancestor. And I've been in constellations where I've seen pain in their shoulder, and they're like, oh yeah, he had a really bad shoulder. Oh yeah, he had. So like literal physical pain will manifest in the people who are standing in as the proxy. They'll have emotion come through. They'll have songs come into their head, or they'll be some. A lot of us are very shamanic and very spiritual. So these people, oftentimes, if you're playing the proxy, you'll hear the ancestors talking to you. Tell her this. Tell them this. Right? So it really is quite beautiful and wild and profound, and there's emotion and there's tears, sometimes anger, sometimes rage, and almost always do we end up with love at the end, right? Like always does it end with love, and that might not be what comes up first, but you guys, it's a beautiful opportunity, as she said, to let our ancestors be heard, be seen, be witnessed, to close out these past pains in a way that closes those chapters. It closes the energy, and it doesn't need to keep being recreated. Let's just talk about karma. Karma, right? The energy of karma. It wants resolution through forgiveness. But if you never offer forgiveness, and if that person can't forgive themselves and they can't forgive their loved ones, there's no resolution to dissolve those ties. So like literally we're offering resolution so that this pattern is complete and doesn't have to keep playing out in your life or your children's lives. Or because I believe, I don't know about you, all of you guys here, but I believe that it's all happening in the now. So I believe, quite literally, we create this quantum wave impact effect. And I see it as a wave, but it's all instantaneous through the quantum field. Literally, this instantaneous, like, dissolution of that pattern, forward and backward. It's just like, clear, done. And some shamanic lineages say 7 generations forward and back. What I have received and actually witnessed in my work around this is it's all the way forward, all the way back. It's like to the origin point. And so it's this work is such a gift for ourselves, and it's such a gift for our ancestors, and such a sweet offering. I really do believe it's an offering from you and an offering of us to participate in these experiences. So yeah, is there anything else that you want to share about, we've essentially gone into how it works, but anything about the benefits or anything about experiences?
Yes, sure. So I will say that if you haven't tried a constellation yet, I will definitely recommend that you try it, look into your communities and try to find a facilitator or join us when, you know, on our coming date. But you have to try it once at least. The benefits from it is that you will see your life transform. You will see, you will feel it. So the work starts within. So once that emotion, that burden that you carry inside is let go, you will feel it on the outside. So you will see a shift in your relationships, sorry, plural. That could be with work situation where you're like, oh my God, you know, like I've been trying to do this and that, and nothing is working out, and I'm so tired, and I don't know what to do. I don't know what my passion is. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So it kind of activates those gifts within you where you're like, oh, I'm super motivated. This is what I want to do. And then you'll see like you manifesting things that you haven't before on a creative level. And then also your family system, you might get back into communication with family members that you haven't spoken for in a very long time, or you might see their interest shift in where, you know, like I've had some people say like, oh, you know, I've been out of touch with my mom for like 5 years, 6 years, and you know we haven't been communicating and I'm having a hard time, or my sister, my uncle, my brother, and then all of a sudden communication is open, and then they tell me like they feel the shift within their family member where they're more communicating, they're easier to talk to. There's a shift where it's like, oh wow, like what happened, what happened. And that's the beauty of family constellation. There's a shift that's created where you'll have more opportunities, and you'll feel the pattern stop. Like whatever pattern you're working on during that constellation, you'll feel it, you'll see it. And I've had overnight shift where right after the constellation, like the next day, the person was like, whoa, like all these things happened. I'm amazed, like how like you're basically quantum jumping, leaping into a new timeline, because you're out of the karmic timeline, you're out of that pattern. So you do not belong there anymore. It's been resolved. So now you get to go and explore and do some other things.
Yeah, that's what I love, is it really gets to the true root, because I find if you do your inner child work, you're clearing your own personal experiences, which is great and powerful and profound, and there's great value and gold, right? The gold of alchemy within those experiences. But when you go ancestrally, you're actually getting to the, you know, here's the inner child. You're going even deeper into and you're accessing the actual root. And once that's alchemized, then there's a freedom of energy,
Yes.
as the patterns are eliminated.
And I want to add also, if you've had physical discomfort, physical pain, it will resolve that pain, because that pain was just a message from your ancestors. That pain was a sign to tell you like, hey, look at me, listen to me, hear me out, look at me. And many times after constellation, many people have had resolution within their physical illnesses, their physical pain. So you'll feel it, you'll feel the shift within your body, and you'll feel it also within the outside world. You know, you'll see it with whatever else is coming through as manifestation or a new life, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. And I won't get into the deeper details now on this live because it's such a nuanced story for me, and a really intimate story. And I do feel called to share and speak more about it. But my experiences with family constellations have been absolutely wild and profound. And I really believe that when you are with the modality will find you, and you'll feel it in your heart if it's meant for you too. I really feel that. Like you'll feel called to it. You'll feel drawn to it. You'll feel the pull in your body, the magnetism, like this is meant for me. And I stumbled upon a constellation essentially and found myself in there just assisting as a proxy, and was in tears and bawling and oh, I want to speak into this piece. I was healed and changed from the constellations where I was just watching or just being a proxy, meaning I'm playing the ancestor or the person for them. And it can be objects too. And we won't be doing that within our thing, but there was objects like, because it's about all relationships. So it could be a relationship to a thing, an object, an energy. And so I I witnessed, and then when they chose me, and then I played that part and role. I mean, I was bawling. My eyes, I was just water pouring down my face, and I didn't know why. I just felt immense sadness, and I couldn't speak. And they kept trying to get me to speak, and I couldn't speak. And I didn't know who I was playing in that particular constellation, which was interesting. Come to find out, I was playing an unborn child, which made so much sense as to why I couldn't speak, and I could just feel. It was just an emotion that was moving through my body of sadness. And what's interesting is every constellation I've either done or participated in has all been related for me to unborn children, which I find really fascinating, because I then, in the constellation I did with you, getting to witness how you do it. By the way, you guys, I've experienced how other practitioners operate their constellation work, and I've experienced how Dr. Kim Kine operates her constellation work, and it is different. And I prefer, everything's a preference, I prefer the way that she does it, because there's, for so many reasons, but one of which is that there's opportunities for one-on-one. So each person who participates and shows up, for the most part, almost everybody will get to either play the role of the person speaking to the ancestor, or a potential ancestor, or somebody on the other side. So there's these constellations, when you are witnessing or even playing that role of the ancestor, it doesn't matter what part of it you are. We're all in this collective field, and and another thing I noticed, I'll add, is that I always call them constellations, a constellation of souls. Whenever I do an event, I call it a constellation of people. So there's actually a constellation of souls very specifically that was like, hey, we're all going to come together because we're all working on similar things. We have similar things to mirror to each other. And so whomever finds themselves in these containers, it was a particular group of souls that was meant to come together, and they were meant to offer healing to one another. And so I always find that there's similarities in the stories, or there's similarities in the ancestors who show up, or there's some similarities in there's just a lot of similarities. So the healing effect is really this quantum field that is created where everybody is receiving healing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you so much, Lacee. Yeah, so the way that I created the modality, and it's been, years, over 11 years of trying every different ways of just going deeper and deeper and deeper, but also trying to include the somatic experience of it, and really helping people go on a root level deep healing. And recently, with the quantum energy and the quantum field that we're feeling as a collective, it is absolutely amazing and beautiful how quickly people are seeing results. And it's absolutely beautiful how the community is coming together and really supporting one another. And this is the time now where working alone is not enough. Doing your personal healing is not enough. Community is needed. Group sessions is needed. We need to support each other. We need to bring that energy in. We need to unfold as a whole, and also understand that we are not alone, because as you mentioned, when we all come together in this particular experience, we're all connected somehow, and our stories unfold in a way where we are the student and we are the teacher at the same time. Mm-hmm. So we heal others while we are healing at the same time, and it's so powerful.
Yeah, thank you so much for bringing in too the importance of meeting others, because what I learned is I isolated for years, and learning how to regulate my nervous system, learning somatic embodiment tools, learning how to access my own trauma and hold space for myself. And Spirit came in and said, okay, now it's time to go out into the world and do group healing and group work, because you don't know what you don't know until you have mirrors that can trigger. And when I say trigger, it doesn't mean anger. It could be sadness. It could be pain. It could be uncomfortableness. We don't know what we don't know. And here's the deal. All trauma is created in relationship. The deep emotional trauma, it's all relationships, the abandonment and hurt and pain, right? So it makes sense. The final healing piece is in relationship. we require each other to build not only the safe spaces to share our stories, because when we share our stories in safe spaces, the shame dies. And we realize we're not alone. We realize that we're all alike and we're all going through the same thing. We all feel the same things. We're all just human beings, just doing our best, trying to figure it out on this
I'm
planet.
getting chills.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
The shame dies. It does. And we feel there's this realization of the interconnectedness, and we're not alone, and we don't have to do this in isolation. And then the beautiful added piece on top of that is we're building new evidence. Because what happens with trauma is we have all this evidence of not safe. It's not safe for me to speak my truth. It's not safe for me to my needs don't matter because last time I did it, so we have all this evidence for a lack of safety and reasons that we've cultivated, right, to not trust others or ourselves. And so when we come together, and the reason I'm so passionate about group work is because when we come together in really safe, beautiful, intentional spaces and allow ourselves to be vulnerable, allow ourselves to be seen, allow ourselves to be held, it, not only does that shame die, but we're creating new evidence. Oh, it's safe for me to be vulnerable and be received by others. It's safe for me to be myself, and no one here is judging me. They're loving me. And so when we do that in safe spaces like containers like this, building that new evidence, then we carry that in that confidence and that vulnerability out into the world. We're like, oh, okay, I know who I am, and I see that I can be vulnerable and still be loved.
Yes.
I can be human and people still love me. Amazing.
Your trauma doesn't make who you are.
Yeah.
These are just lessons that you're supposed to learn and let go of. And this is not an easy work. This is not an easy task. And I am amazed of how the community again is coming together, and people really want to heal. People want to transform. People are ready for it. They're demanding it. They're asking for it. We don't want to live in pain anymore. Especially it's not the pain that we're created. So the constellation work allows love to be redirected. So instead of carrying burdens, once you let go of it, you make space for love. You make space for the truth. You make space for who you are. So you don't have to feel like you're not in alignment with who you are. Because being in alignment with who you are is just being truth and just being love. And that is enough for you to carry, to do all the things that you want with passion, with love, with care. So it's a way to transform the patterns that your subconscious is just repeating.
Yeah, into our power. That's the beauty. That's what transmutation is. That's what transformation is. Energy can be neither created nor destroyed. It can only change form. So really, all of our trauma is a gift.
Yes. I love that you're saying this. Yes. A reminder. Energy doesn't die. Energy can only be transformed. So we have to continue transforming our pain and our trauma into love and into peace and into, respect and care. So we have to walk through that trauma. We have to walk through that pain to transform it and to make it out of there.
Absolutely. And on the other side is a reclamation of our power. On the other side, for most of us, is the birthing of our mission, our purpose, our why. Because I'm telling you right now, if you ask anybody who's living their mission, living their purpose, is so lit up and fulfilled, and you ask them, why do you do what they do? You'll get a story of how they got there. That was, I had to overcome this. I had to do, all this adversity. And their why is usually rooted in what they didn't have, what they didn't receive, the pain of their childhood or their upbringing. And they're like, well, that's why I do what I do. I know you do what you do because of what you've been through, and you've desired to turn around and help other people. And same with me, right? Yeah. Like, oh, we've done it for ourselves, and now it's become our mission, our purpose. We've turned our mess into our mission. We've turned our pain into our purpose. We've turned, right, all of the trauma of this life into our sense of empowerment and why. and how we want to serve the world, which is
Mm-hmm.
such a beautiful gift, not only for ourselves, but then that gift we then in turn offer it to others, which is really what we're all here for, right? We do it for ourselves first. We put on our own life mask. And
Yes.
then we're like, let me help you with yours.
Yes,
We're all in
exactly.
this together. We're all
Exactly.
one.
Yes. Yes. And that's what we've been taught also, is to help our family members in a way where the way we support them is very toxic. It's
Yeah.
not healing.
Mm.
But you just said something very important, is you got to put your mask on first. You got to do the healing so you can help others and you can shift things around you. Is you got to do the healing for yourself. You got to focus on self. You got to self-care. You got to be able to just go into your little bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And this can happen also into the wisdom body. So once you do constellation, you enter the wisdom body of all the knowledge and all the understanding and the teachings of your lineage. So you get a really deeper understanding because you're really connected within yourself. So you're hearing your body, you're feeling your body, you're hearing the voices, you're seeing things. So you go into a deeper acknowledgement of your own self.
Mm-hmm.
And within you is all the informations.
Yeah. Know thyself. Self-gnosis, right? That's what we're here for, to know thyself. And to know thyself, what we are and what we're not.
Yes.
That's what we're doing. We're peeling back all of the layers of conditioning, all the layers of I can't do that, I can't be that, that's not okay. That all the things that keep us small and hide the truth of who we be. And that it really is what alchemy is. It's like you transmute what's not real, what's the illusion of duality,
Yes.
dimensional experience of pain and trauma and separation, into what's true and what's real, and you make space for you to embody more of your soul light. That's what
Mm-hmm.
a is. It's a return to wholeness. I don't even love the word healing because it's, to me, it's holding. It's a return to what's already whole. The truth of who we be is we're already whole and complete. We are
We are, but we're carrying too many baggages with us, extra baggages that we need to let go of.
Yeah.
Just to bring back the wholeness that we are. And the energies, even though we don't see it physically with our eyes, this is the realm, like of the unknown and the unseen, is because we don't see the energies physically. So we don't see all the burdens that we carry physically. And it is a very big load for a lot of people that needs to just energetically just cleanse and release and let go. And these are all the layers that you let go of. But I want to say something else too, because we're having these special dates in Houston and I'm so excited for it and I can't wait to be there. Going back to Houston is very special for me too. So in this time of special rituals, we have to remind people that fear has to be let go. We cannot keep continuing fearing our shadows or our ego, because those are our ancestors. Those are the unresolved patterns. There's nothing to fear about it. We have to stop fearing what we don't see with our own eyes. These energies that are trying to be free, they're asking for our support, they're asking for our help to be resolved and to continue their path and ascend. So it's very important. That's the message that I want to also bring while doing these events with you, is that we have to create a harmony with what we don't see.
I love that. I really love that. And I'll add this before we move into sharing information about the events, because you guys, if you are here, whether live or watching the replay, and you are in the Texas area and you're like, ooh, this sounds amazing, my heart is saying yes to this experience, and you're curious, we've got 2 events, 2 sacred ceremonies that we're offering coming up next week. But before I get into that and sharing the details of that, what's been really powerful for me to not be afraid of the unknown is, and to actually, I call it transmutation, to transmute the fear into curiosity. And the way I love doing that is perspective work, right? Like what is true, what is real. And you guys, you may not have the same belief systems that I do, but my belief is, and I would love to share that with you in the event that it resonates with you. My belief is that we are the creators, we're the designers, we're the architects of this life experience. We knew exactly what it was that we wanted to learn, how we wanted to grow, and what our mission was, our purpose was, what we were our legacy work for this life. I also believe that our dreams, I believe we're one with God, with the creator. We're all fractals and aspects of the one infinite creator. There's this interconnectedness of all things that is proven by quantum physics. It's undeniable. We're all realizing this now. The interconnectedness of all reality. And so I believe our dreams for our life are God's dreams to be lived and experienced through us. So I believe our dreams, our desires are so incredibly sacred. And I believe we're all on our own individual hero and shero's journey. Meaning, again, as the designer and architect, we would design it so that we would be born into the perfect family lineage that would give us the perfect trauma, if we can call it that, because it's true. The perfect trauma, the perfect conditioning, the perfect limitations, all of the things that we needed that said, you can't have that, you can't be that, you can't do that, who do you think you are? All the things that made us want to stay small, be small. Because that is the heroes and sheroes journey. When we overcome those obstacles, when we transmute that pain into our lessons, our purpose, our mission, then we get to fulfill our mission, our purpose, our dreams that we, again, designed and architected. So I love getting to offer a little bit of like a reframe and a shift, because it's not, oh my gosh, all of these things. It's like, oh yeah, all of these things. Like the fulfillment of my greatest dreams and my destiny is on the other side of me being curious about what is there. What did I choose intentionally to hold me back so that I could overcome that and become the person I'm meant to become in this life. So I want to offer that perspective shift, that reframe, and a little bit of that alchemy from fear of what is there, it's going to hurt, it's going to be painful, and to maybe into a little bit of a curiosity, like, oh yeah, what is there? Because I get to hold that, and in the healing of that, I get to support my own journey, my own purpose and mission, but in return, the collective of humanity, our own ancestors and all of humanity. So yeah, I really love getting to bring that into it, that little energy. So
yes, beautiful. I love it. I think that it's very important, as you said, to be curious, to try and to see, and to understand a little bit more about where you come from, understand what is your root, what is your story, what is your family story, what is your pain, what is, if it is your pain, because like I said, most of us are just carriers, and we don't really are, we're not the creator of the original root cause, but we are the creator of the shift.
Yeah, I love that.
So we have to be strong enough to acknowledge that there was things that happened within our family that, happened for a reason. Trauma was created, a pattern started, and we have to understand and acknowledge it to be able to move forward and to create new. But once we acknowledge that there was a trauma that was created, that's when we're able also to make that shift, is because we're understanding and we're processing and integrating the history of who we are. So now we know what we need to change.
So good. So good. You guys, what I love about this woman is she wants you to just experience family constellation. And wherever you may be in the world, there are probably practitioners in your area. So find them. And if you happen to be local, if you're in Austin, then you probably already know this woman. And she's got events of several a week, essentially, is what I've noticed lately. But if you're in the Houston area, or even if you're in Austin and you love her body of work and you're like, ooh, I'm curious, we've got a really special experience lined up coming next weekend. Next weekend is Halloween, what most of you might know as Halloween. But what you might not know is Halloween is a little bit of an Americanized holiday that's based off of some other really, really ancient holidays called Dia de los Muertos and Samhain. It's also All Souls Day or All Saints Day. So that weekend is notorious for ancestral work. And that can be just connecting with the ancestors, communing with our ancestors. What we know is that collectively the veil is thin. Collectively, the world will be thinking about their loved ones that have passed, that are no longer with us. They'll be setting up ofrendas and placing their photos and offering food, whether that be the Celtic Samhain Wheel of the Year or the South America and the holidays that they'll be celebrating, or even the Christian holidays of All Souls Day. There is a collective energy that has really primed us to connect and receive and do this work. So we have intentionally, and I work with the Wheel of the Year, and I've done ancestral work at this time of year for myself and led ceremonies every year. And what was beautiful, it was just so perfectly aligned for us to work together. So we're going to be holding 2 separate ceremonies. So that way, if you want to come and visit, one's going to be on the 31st, Friday, October 31st. There's a lot of parents in here that have children that they want to take out trick-or-treating. And so we have a second ceremony that's going to take place on Saturday from 3 to 8 p.m. So we have 2 ceremonies happening in Houston. They will be the same ceremonies. You do not have to attend both. You can if you're like, yeah, that sounds awesome. I want to dive in, because they will be radically different. You'll have different ancestors and different energies come up, and there'll be a different constellation of people showing up for each event. So we've got 2 events coming up. I'm really excited. And again, so the energy of the day is just simply primed for us to do this work. And I'm really excited. Both events are going to be beautiful and profound and deep. And I'm really excited, though, about the event happening on Friday night, because Friday night, where the event is taking place in a quantum energy healing technology. Here in Houston, there's a place called Quantum Life Energy. Sheila has been on the live. I don't know if you're still here with us, Sheila, but hi, love. Sheila's the owner of Quantum Life Energy, and Quantum Life Energy has, within this physical space, a system called the Energy Enhancement System. The Energy Enhancement System is a set of computers that are utilizing technology from Nikola Tesla, a quantum technology called scalar waves that are able to penetrate the physical body, the skin. And on these scalar waves, they have biophotons. We are light beings, and there's a direct correlation to photons and light in our physical health. And they're carrying like the Schumann resonance and different frequency medicines. And so this technology, Sheila has had a gentleman that was doing it in conjunction. He had like a stage 2 cancer, and within 4 months, utilizing this technology in conjunction with his regular treatment, he is completely cancer-free. Sheila's had her own transformational miracles. She had a chronic pain in her body that she had 2 sessions in the EE system, and it was completely gone. And that's why she was like, there's something up with this. This is real. It works. And so she started doing research and studied it. And I believe that the technology itself is conscious, it's sentient. The quantum field is conscious and sentient. Everything is sentient, right? So we are going to be actually in a quantum ceremony within a quantum energy healing technology. So the depth in which we're going to be able to go is going to be heightened, amplified. So this is, I think, the first time you've ever done anything in this technology, right?
Yes, that's going to be the first time for me. And just to give a special, send a special message for Dr. Shad, Cynthia, who passed away this summer on August 8th. And actually we had planned to do this work here in Austin and offer constellation within that quantum field ES system. And unfortunately it didn't happen. But I do believe in all the signs, and I do believe that we were connected to work on that somehow, some way, and Houston is the location. This is where the ancestors want us to be right now, and I believe that this will be a very, very powerful experience for whomever will be there. I can feel it already. And I think it's going to be just an amazing experience, and hopefully a lot of people will be able to join us.
Yeah, thank you. It was meant to happen in Houston. And so we are going to be curating a beautiful ceremonial experience for you guys. We'll have an altar. We'll invite you to bring your own pictures of your ancestors and any crystals that you want to charge in the energy enhancement system. Anything you bring in there gets supercharged. So you can bring sacred items and objects. And then we're going to drop into ceremony. We're going to open up a sacred container. We're going to connect. We're going to share a little bit about the intentions of the experience. And then we're going to connect with our ancestors, and we're going to honor their strengths, the gifts of their strengths, and what they've navigated, and who we are today because of their strengths and their resiliency and their courage and their willingness to travel across the world to get here. So we're going to really anchor into the strengths and connect to and receive wisdom and guidance. Once you open up that field, you don't know what you're going to receive. I always received little whispers of guidance from my ancestors, or words of affirmation, or just encouragement. So we're going to connect with them. We're going to tap into the power and strengths and wisdom that they've offered us, and let ourselves embody that and remember that. And then we're going to go into a beautiful meditation, again, all working, drumming to help you come into a beautiful kind of shamanic trance to help regulate your nervous system. Again, connecting with the ancestors before we then open up the constellation work. And then we'll go, one at a time and see what comes up, and all witness each other with so much love as the constellations play out before you'll get a time to go. And as the ceremony comes to a complete, we'll have time to share, because there's something really beautiful and important with getting to share about our experience, so you can help integrate it if you have any questions, if you are unsure about what you've experienced. So we'll have time to share. And then we'll wrap up the ceremony. We'll have light bites for you guys to just snack on, help ground and come back into your body. And then that way you can connect with everybody, the people, everyone. The connection time after is always so beautiful, because these are intimate ceremonies where we get to know each other. There'll be tears, there'll be emotion, and we're gonna hold space for that. And so you will have time to integrate, we'll have time to connect. And I'm just really, really, really excited to bring this modality to Houston. And we're feeling this, we're hoping, and our prayer is that this is an initiation of something even grander and more. That it really is. Again, we want to bring this to you guys, bring this to Houston, and see if this is something that excites you. See if this is something that you're like, yeah, we want more of. Because if you do,
yes, I love it. I'm so excited too, Lacee. Yeah. And I want to add one more thing. I want to explain that family constellation is equivalent. So like when you do one session, it's equivalent of 40 hours talk therapy.
Wow.
And since we're going to be in the quantum room, you are probably going to multiply that by 2 with the energy that we'll be carrying. But constellation is an approach that engages the body, the mind, the soul. It's an amplifier of resolution. It amplifies your resolution within, and it amplifies the connection, and it recalibrates your whole cellular level. On a whole cellular level. So it creates it creates new cells within, and new patterns, healthy patterns. Because now you're letting go of all the toxin, you're letting go of toxic energies within your body, within your system, within your organs. So I have to tell everyone that this is a very intense therapeutic way of working. It's equivalent of 40 hours of talk therapy.
And I can echo the sentiment. I agree. And that's been my experience as well. And then on top of it being in the EE system, you guys, this system is designed for multidimensional healing. And you can look into the technology. We'll share more information on how you can look into the technology. So again, all of this is just being amplified. And we will send, information to help prep you, because you do want to prepare physically, because this is it's an experience. Even without, the first time I went into the EE system, I just laid down in the chair in a relaxed recliner for 3 hours. And I still came out rocked. So the fact that we're in the most beautiful way possible, right? The fact that we're going through
reminder.
Exactly. So the fact that we're going to be going into this system where, so we're going to have the added benefits of this quantum field and what it's doing for you at a physical level, and then we're going to be opening up this spiritual space, which is really cool and really neat. I'm really excited for what's going to happen and unfold, especially because we're in spooky season. And spooky season, nothing's really spooky, right? We're not really afraid, but I love calling it spooky season.
No.
Yeah, and that's the beauty. There's nothing really spooky about connecting to our ancestors and our loved ones, their spirits, their soul, their essence, their being. So we get to all come together and have this really beautiful honoring of our ancestors, honoring of the lineages from which we come from, and then also offering profound healing for ourselves and all who came before us and all who will come after us. And again, beautifully supported not only with the energies of Samhain, Dia de los Muertos, All Souls Day. We're also being supportive of the energies of the E system within this quantum field. So I'm excited. I'm really, really excited. I've had
Super excited. I can't wait to see you, Houston.
I'm so excited. I've had ceremonies in the E system already, and they've been so powerful and profound. And this is going to be the first time that I get to do it in co-creation and collaboration, and the first time that we're going to bring in family constellations. I haven't heard of anyone doing family constellations in the E system yet, so I'm really excited to see what happens and unfolds. So if you're somebody who's experienced family constellations, if you're familiar with Dr. Kim's work and you're in either Austin or Dallas and you want to come travel, I just want to let you guys know you can stay overnight in the EE system for only $99 for the overnight fee, which is so good. It's like next to nothing in comparison. Normally for a 2-hour session, it's $120. So for $100, you can stay over the night. So I just want to offer that to you guys. If anybody wants to drive in town and you want to stay over, then that's available to you. So we would welcome you. Just let us know if that's something that you're interested in.
I'm so happy that we're able to offer that as well, because it will really bring more integration into the experience, and it will be a next level experience for whoever gets to do it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the integration. And then I just had a vision of like really wild dreams, like like whoever stays the night over in that system having, dreams of dancing with their ancestors around a fire circle. Like,
finally bringing peace into the system, and resolution and harmony, and finally bringing love back.
Absolutely. Bringing love. It all returns to love. You guys, we would love to have you. We would love to welcome you into the container, into the space if it's aligned. Please let us know if you have any questions, comments, concerns around the experiences. If you want to get in contact with Dr. Kim one-on-one and you're like, hey, I'm not local, but I would love to work with you, I guarantee you she can do this work over Zoom. So if you've done family constellations and you'd rather have one-on-one work and you're like, yeah, I would rather go deeper, please reach out directly to her and ask her or I questions so we can help ease whatever you might be feeling to really help you determine if this experience is right for you. We're available, so please let us know. But otherwise, we will drop the links are already in my bio. You can go over there and click them now to find both of the ceremonies. And we'll also include them in these posts and reshares here. But we would love to have you there. And again, if it isn't aligned, then please find a practitioner in your area, because I really do believe this modality. I feel that this modality is going to become more and more and more known over the years, and people are going to realize how effective and deep and profound Sacred Family Constellations is.
Yes, I love it. Yes, I do recommend anyone that has not experienced it to try. Look into it. It will bring so much awareness to your life. It will bring a resolution that you never would have thought about or think that could happen. And I will say, like I tell my group, my constellation group, you have to keep up with your ancestral healing as much as you're keeping up with you know, your regular activities. So give yourself some time to experience some spiritual, some people might think that this is spiritual work or might call it that way, but it's really deeper than that. It's your root, it's where you come from, it's, you know, it's part of your system, your internal system. So I will say, please look into different modalities that can help you heal ancestral wound or generational trauma, as we may call it. Get involved with understanding your story, understanding, you know, create a family tree to understand, you know, where you come from, what's the wounds, what's the trauma. It will help you understand who you are.
Yeah, and I want to add something else because I've done the family tree, and I did a whole list of all the trauma I've experienced in this life, which was a heavy experience. But I'm not running from what I've been through, and so that was powerful. But what I wanted to bring in is if you're somebody that doesn't know what your family tree is, if you were adopted, or if you're somebody whose parent passed when you were a baby or before you were born, and you never had a relationship with them, and you don't know their stories, this is the perfect modality for you,
Yeah.
actually. This is the perfect modality for you because when you go to a therapist, they're going to want to talk about what you know. And if you don't know where you came from, yet it is without a doubt impacting your life because it's inside of you, right? This modality has a really beautiful way of helping you uncover the unseen, the unknown, because it's shamanic, it's genetic, it's this, you know, consciousness mirroring that is beyond the linear mind. And
Yes. It's
yeah.
reconnecting with your root, to your heart space. And yes, you reminded me of something, Lacey.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for stating that. Yeah, if you don't know your family and there's no way of you finding out, or as you mentioned, you've been adopted, there's a lot of people that I work with that are in that situation. And also, let me tell you this much, even people that have families that have their, you know, mothers and dad and you know, grandpa and grandma, a lot of them don't communicate, they don't talk, they don't share these stories. So I will say that no one has it better than the other one.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to keep looking at it as, you know, what can we do to move forward together? But also there's a judgment where it's like, oh, well, I'm judging myself too harshly because I don't have what other people have,
Yeah.
or I don't, you know, hold what other people hold. And when you come into the constellation, you understand that, oh, wow, that person has their mom and dad, but they're going through the same thing that I'm going through. So it's a very, how I can say, it's a reality check on like, oh wow, people
Yeah.
are going through it, we're all going through it, we are all trying to resolve, you know, these traumas with our families. And it brings you closer to, as a community and as a group of people that don't know each other, and then they come together to heal their stories. I could talk about this forever with you.
It's so good. It's I'm passionate about it. It's so important. It's why we're
Yes.
here. We love doing this work.
Yes.
So excited. This is going to be our first time to get to host something together, to get to work together. And of course, it would be perfectly aligned for us to work together on doing ancestral healing, family constellations on, again, Halloween, Samhain, Dia de los Muertos, within the EE system. There's just been so many beautiful synchronicities that and guidance that brought us here to do this work with you guys. And so we're really excited to see who wants to show up in person with these ceremonies and just how this is received and what magic is meant to transpire within these containers. So again, invitation, you guys, join us in Houston for ancestral healing next Friday and Saturday, 2 separate ceremonies, but you can attend both. 2 different locations. One's going to be within the EE system on Friday night. On Saturday night, it's at a different studio, so it won't be within the EE system, but it's a bigger space and it's going to be just as powerful and profound. It'll be a different constellation of souls and different things will come up and we'll have different mirrors present themselves. So please let us know if you have any questions. I feel like we've touched on a lot here in our time together, but that was our prayer and our intention, is that we realize, one, her and I have a lot of knowledge as it relates to trauma, the nervous system, you know, limitations within our energy body, multidimensionally. We didn't even get into other lifetimes, parallel lives. That's a whole nother can of worms we won't open today. But this is what both of us are so very passionate about, and so we get to bring our wisdom and our skills and our expertise together to hold space for you guys. So it's a joy, it's an honor, it's a pleasure for us both. I know that. So thank you guys so much for entrusting in us. And my prayer is, at the very least, if you aren't able to attend the ceremonies next weekend, that you are maybe family constellations. You're like, ooh, maybe there's that the seed has been planted, and you can just keep watering that seed, and the perfect time will, what was for me, the perfect time, the perfect ceremony, the perfect experience will present itself. And maybe you got a little nugget throughout this conversation around trauma or the nervous system or ancestral healing. Maybe it's something you didn't even think about, but you've been doing inner child work and trauma work and nervous system regulation. You're like, well, maybe that's the next step for me. Maybe that's my growth edge. So maybe. Thank you for tuning in with us, whether that be live or for the replay. And we would just love to see you guys, whether that be next weekend or at any of the other offerings that either of us have, or just in person. I look forward to seeing you guys and meeting with you. And thank you so much, Dr. Kymberly Kind. Thank you.
Thank you, Lacee, for bringing this together and making it happen. Thank you so much. And thank you for, being a space holder for your community in Houston and doing the work and, not giving up on whatever, sometimes things don't happen always as we want, but we cannot give up on ourselves and on this beautiful work, as you said, that, and the passion is beautiful, the passion that you hold.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that we get this opportunity to work together, and I'm excited for what is Thank you all that are here. That's all.
Thank you, everyone. Sending love and healing to everyone.
Did that do that on yours?
Yes. Bring.
I don't know how to do it.
Okay. It's the ancestors talking.
It is the ancestors talking.
There you go.
Feel our love. We love you all so much. I love you all so much. I love humans. I love the human experience. I have such a tender spot for the human experience.
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone that watched this live and who will be watching this on replay. And if you need to contact me, I am available to communicate and help you and support you however I can.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you so much, Lacee.
Thank you, darling. Oh, all right. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.